Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Minor League Esports, presented by APM Music. We have got some Foundation League action for you, still at Utopia Coliseum Dusk. One of my personal newer favorite maps. I didn't think that it could look so fantastic, but I find myself using it more and more. But that's neither here nor there. I am still Leechy, and joining me once again is still Inanimate Jay. Jay, Foundation League, 2 rungs down in terms of the skill tier in Minor League Esports, but hopefully not too much further down in terms of raw excitement.
Sometimes Foundation League can be quite evenly matched. There's not going to be that same level of mechanical consistency that you'll expect with champion level players, grand champion level players. It's a little bit more about just getting quality hits on the ball, putting other teams into difficult spots where they spend a lot of boost. You'll see a lot of boost spent anyway, not a lot of boost grabbed as players still really kind of finding their own rhythm with understanding how to move their car around the field. But that doesn't make it any less exciting because these games mean something to all of these players. And for the Express, these games mean everything right now. They need wins. They need them desperately as their playoff hopes hang in the balance here.
They hang in the balance indeed. Knights are second in the conference, which means they get that second spot for playoff qualification. There's a single week left in league play. They've got tonight and they've got next week, and that is it. Knights, sitting 5 whole games above the Express, 26-14. Express are 21-19. Express need a sweep against the Knights to have a chance of getting playoff qualification, because as you said, Jay, there are extenuating circumstances that are essentially outside of these two teams' control, and that's, when you're in that position, especially for the Express, the best you can do is just get your head down, focus on your job, let all the other results play out how they're going to play out. All you need to focus on is winning game after game after game.
Conveniently enough for the Knights, it's a simple recipe for success here. Win this series and you're in the playoffs. A 3-2 is good enough to see them in as at least the second seed in the Forge division. That is job 1 here. Get 3 wins out of this set. Nothing else matters.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jets and the Knights sit on top of that division. On top of the conference. Well, actually, technically in the division as well. I keep forgetting that we only have half as many teams in FL compared to everything else. Hive and Hawks sitting on top of the Sky division as well. Not quite as influential here, but still, the Forge division overall is clearly the strongest one in the Blue Conference. Hive, Hawks, Hive, Hawks, Aviators, and Ducks have a little bit more work to do if they want to secure themselves a slightly better situation when it comes to playoff qualifications. They still have their 2 spots, Hive and Hawks, qualifying 3rd and 4th, but just they can't stand up clearly to the might of the Jets and the Knights.
It'd be really interesting to see how the seeding ends up working when it comes down to this one here, as you really just get the sense at the moment that it's the Forge Division's playoffs to lose. They just need a few more games really to lock up those top seedings in the Blue Conference playoffs. And the teams, I think the Knights have looked really strong all season long. So have the Jets really. And it's kind of, editor's choice who's the better team of those two. They've both been really dominant.
Absolutely, yeah. When you're coming up in this difficult of a situation, and you, Jay, as someone in like a position of management, when it comes to an actual franchise, if to put yourself in the Express's shoes, if you have guys or girls that are in this position that they need a sweep over a very strong opponent to even not guarantee, but even just have a shot at getting to playoffs, what are you, as GM or AGM or whatever, are you sitting down with them and kind of giving them a pep talk and being like, listen, focus on your stuff, or are you just kind of letting them let their own mentality take care of the situation?
it really truly depends on the types of players that you have at your disposal. Some players respond better to pep talks like that. Other players respond better to just letting you, or having you let them get their heads down and just play the game one game at a time, because that's really what it is when it comes down to it. When you're looking for a sweep, you just need one win at a time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, working on getting the server back up for you guys. 1 second, a little bit of confusion going on here. So we will continue to stall like the professionals we are. Jay, in terms of... Oh, okay, so let's play the theoretical game. If we've got the... Let's say... I feel like it's not too outlandish to completely count the Spartans out of playoff contention. So between the Jets, Knights, and Express, it's relatively close at the top of that Forge division. In your opinion, I mean, just purely looking at the stats, I don't know how much experience you have with the individual players, but do you have a favorite out of this division to potentially take the entirety of the Foundation League, or do you think that maybe there are stronger contenders elsewhere in FL?
It's really hard to say because there's no comparison between the conferences in the regular season. Every team playing within their conference, you don't really know what you're up against with whoever comes out of the opposing conference when you get to the championship series. So a lot of the times, unless you're really scrimming teams across conference with regularity, it's difficult to understand what you're up against and how the teams kind of stack up, because one team can look dominant, but it's because they've beaten up on their division. You get 2 divisional matches each season against the other 3 teams in your division. That's potentially 30 wins on board for you if you are that kind of dominant force in your division. And you just really need kind of a middling record against the other teams in your conference to make the playoffs at that point.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation. I personally just haven't been privy to a lot of that, you know, the how FL works in those terms. I myself came into the league as a CL player, so I kind of had that league structure just kind of built around me from day one, essentially. That's all I had to learn. So still, you know, this far in, picking up on things having to do with FL and PL as well, on the other league here in Minor League Esports that only has half as many teams compared to the Master League, Champion League, and Academy League. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got some Rocket League to talk about. Knights and Express getting kicked off here. Terminator and Dawiko for the Express facing off against Hawkeye and Soviet Shark on the Knights. Let's get this underway. 20 seconds already gone. High flying action here. Soviet Shark passing this across to Hawkeye. What a pass there. Jay, we just finished calling a Champ League match. That was, I feel like that was a speed that was very befitting of 2 CL players. I'm honestly a little bit disappointed that it didn't find the back of the net, but be that as it may, Express are looking to build out of their own half now.
I think the one thing that you'll find about the level of play here with players at Foundation League being really around the Diamond 1 rank, maybe touching on Diamond 2 if MMR has gone favorably for them, that it's just the mechanical consistency most of the time that sets them apart. A lot of the time, with the speed of play that's here, they're able to read it effectively. They just don't quite understand how to make their card do what they need to do to get out of these situations they find themselves in effectively. Speaking of getting themselves out of situations, Soviet Shark with a cushioning backflip save to bring that down for Hawkeye to clear away for the Knights.
Soviet Shark missing this one, Cow missing it as well. Hawkeye, open goal. Great that a player in Foundation League is able to put this one away to give the Knights the 1-goal lead. We'll see how long they can hang on to it.
Just have to hit it straight sometimes, especially when that ball's bouncing around at midfield, when it's already dead center to the net. Get around it, get your nose through it, get it on target. Sometimes players, especially as they get a little bit more mechanical with their play, they just try to do a little bit too much. They get a little too specific with their touches, and they end up missing as a result.
Miniator won't miss this one. Gets that flick up field. On target for the Knights, or rather for the Express, courtesy of the Knights. Wow, okay. Cow's just going to see this one into the back of the net. I was busy fumbling a point.
Well, it comes off of a scramble by the Knights as Soviet Shark puts it directly goalward on the own goal. Hawkeye has to try and get that away, and unfortunately, with getting that car positioned, having to flip to make the contact on the ball didn't really give it a lot of power, and with, again, the level of mechanical consistency at Diamond, you don't have that ability to recover your car quickly enough to get a second follow-up touch on it.
Soviet Shark going to follow this in midair. Hawkeye should be there in time, and is. Strong clearance off of that side wall. All the way up across that corner wall. Terminator stopping that one. Terminator, part of our beloved broadcast crew, as many of you may know. Fantastic color commentator. Love working with him. Matches energy perfectly. Let's see if he can match the play style of his opponents properly to give the Express a much-needed Game 1 win, and he'll be hoping... Oh, my Lord! Okay, that's a way to open it up. Terminator had one goal in mind, killed the player in front of me, and did that with aplomb.
A lot of that just gets set up by the fact that Soviet Shark has to rotate in such a direct line back to the net. That play develops off of an initial chance by Hawkeye, gets dunked by the Express near their goal, and it's a 2-on-1, essentially becoming a 2-on-0 as Terminator has the lead. The ball's already behind them, so they're able to just drive at that one, knowing there's still a safety valve in Cal right behind.
Hawkeye and Soviet Shark kind of fumbling over each other, and now Cal... Open opportunity here. Tough angle to find, though. I don't blame him. That would be difficult for anybody and in any league here in minor league esports. Cal. Oh, and Terminator. That scissor save, just kind of crossing each other up at that left side post. Hawkeye looking for that self-pass off of that back wall. Terminator stands up strong to stop that one there with that Fennec, waiting for this one to come down. Soviet Shark retreating. Terminator now dribbles it all the way into the face of Hawkeye. Soviet Shark takes it away from both of them. Hawkeye positioning perfectly, waiting for that pass to come in. It did come in from Soviet. You feel like Hawkeye was maybe a little bit too far back to take advantage, but at the very least, it's a good thing to see that both of these players are communicating so well. They know roughly where they need to be. It's just a matter of, you know, fine-tuning those rough edges, per se.
A little bit too much zip on the pass as well. It was really tough to get there. Again, you talk about the player's ability at this level to get their car around the field with efficiency, with speed. That's not something that really tends to be the forte of players in Foundation League. They will struggle at times to keep their car moving quickly. So it does come down to positioning like this one as Dowie Cal finds a seam, catching the Knights in rotation.
Hawkeye slamming this off of their own corner wall, and Dowie Cow just almost... I couldn't quite tell whether it was a pinch off of Hawkeye's desperate flip to try and regain control or whether it was just a well-played shot, but whatever the case may be, just under 60 seconds left, and Express have a very much-needed lead. I'm sure this will be filling both Dowie Cow and Terminator with tons of confidence that they have what it takes to go on and, you know, pull out a sweep against these Knights players. Knights, a team that has looked fearless throughout the season, but starting to shake in their boots a little bit as Terminator puts home number 4.
One game at a time, and it starts right here as the Express really well positioned to take advantage of the Knights giving away possession with relative ease. Both players in that corner. It's a loose play by the Knights that just doesn't find one another, and the Express take that down to the house to the 3-goal lead.
Hawkeye and Dowie Cow facing off. Terminator. Oh, this one cleared all the way down into the opposite corner, the Knights corner. Hawkeye. Nice and high. Terminator not waiting for this one to come down. Smart play there. Knocks it away from the threat of Soviet Shark, but Hawkeye will resume that threat. The demo now leaves Cal the last one back, only for the time being, though. 4-1 lead, I don't think was under any threat. The second goal, number 4, went into the back of the net. And game 1, Jay, convincingly going to the Express. This is a great way to start a series.
It's exactly how you want to start a series where you need to sweep. 10 shots on goal, 4 of them going in. Not a lot of saves out of the Knights. They do get 4 on that one, but it really did feel like they let the Express have this game. A couple of touches where the Knights just kind of slammed that ball into space, where the Express were in really good position to take advantage of it, to convert those chances into goals. We talked a lot at length in the last series about the efficiency of possession by teams with the ball, being able to follow up your own touches, to make your opposition dive into challenges and miss them as a result. There wasn't a lot of that needed here by the Express because the Knights were more than willing to give them the ball.
Absolutely. And we were also talking last series, Jay, about the statistics kind of giving away the perception that one team is getting pinned back in their own half. 4 saves to the Knights versus just 1 from the Express, and a dwarfing shot total. 10 total excuse me, 10 total for the Express versus just 3 for the Knights. Express are absolutely suffocating this Knights team. They desperately need to find a way to break out of their own half. On the other side, Express, guys, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is a series that you need a sweep, as we talked to at length, to have a shot at making playoffs. Right now, friggin' full steam ahead. Everything is working out super, super well. I was about to say don't change a thing, but maybe score a few more goals just to put on the hurt a little bit more. Who knows?
Just make sure you don't get scored on first things first.
Yeah.
If you let the Knights get in front, that seed of doubt might start to germinate inside your heads and be like, oh, okay, they can score on us. They don't do everything in such a way that makes it a little bit easier here for us. Is that one like that? Terminator diving in at that didn't quite have a good angle to try and jump at that 50. Those are the types of plays where if the Knights start converting those, I feel like there's a real chance for the Knights to take the sting out of the Express. But the more times they give away possession like that, kind of uncontested, and the Express are able to convert that, the more difficult the task is going to be here for the Knights.
Terminator off of that side wall. Should look to pick up that full boost, and does. Hawkeye now. Very patient in his own corner, but gives away possession to Terminator. Soviet Shark on the ball there. Getting beaten, still along that Knights back wall. The longer that ball spends in their half, the more they're going to get antsy and just desperately wanting to clear it. Maybe slightly more prone to making mistakes. Soviet Shark gets to that ball a smidge too early and just slams it off of that backboard. Would have been a great way for the Knights to take the lead, but as it stands, 70 seconds now gone, and the Express still hanging on. Well, I mean, no one's hanging on to anything. Come on, Leachy, get your life together. Dowie Cow now, trying to dribble Soviet Shark, but just outside of the frame of the goal here. Terminator sending this one high. Cow not waiting for this one to come down. An excellent flick. This one's off of that back wall. Waiting for Terminator to take it away. Clearly some excellent comms being exhibited by these two players. Pass mid again, but Terminator is too far to take advantage, and the Knights get a clear.
It wasn't really in a great spot, the pass across from Cow to Terminator on that one. It was long, it was hopeful, it was all the way across goal. Even at this level of play, it's relatively easy when you have a player positioned in net to be able to get up at an angle to take that pass away. A lot of the times that short infield pass might be better. Cow just can't quite find that one as Terminator clears the road, but no follow-up touch by the Express. A gilt-edged chance does not go in for them.
Soviet Shark, a shot opportunity for themselves. Hawkeye couldn't convert either. Soviet Shark now leaving this one wide open, but Terminator can't get control quickly enough to make it count. Man, it's only happened a couple times, but if I'm a Knights FL player, I'm starting to really watch over my shoulder for Terminator, because he seems to be completely unafraid to go for those super physical demolition plays and really upset any sense of balance that the Knights might have here. Dowie Cow missing an open opportunity. Terminator intelligently choosing not to push that one so he could deal with the clearance by Hawkeye.
The Express right now have got the rotation sorted out really well. When Terminator's aggressive, Dowie Cow's waiting for that inevitable loose clear by the Knights. And conversely, when Cal is coming in, Terminator's going out on the rotation, but unfortunately, this one just breaks down. They don't keep the midfield hold in, and the 150 by Soviet Shark, good enough to get it upfield. Hawkeye on the read follows that one up. Knights take the lead in game 2.
A lead that they desperately need, and a lead, I mean, honestly, a lead that the Express need too, but just going the other way. This one scoreboard result right now jeopardizes the entirety of the Express's hopes to give them a shot to make playoffs. They need desperately to utilize the aggression that we've seen from Terminator and hope that Dawikao can find the back of the net a little bit more consistently than he's done throughout this series to give them a shot. But as it stands, we're getting to the final 90 seconds here, and still 1-0 to the Knights. They haven't been able to score as consistently as they were in game one. Maybe a sign of either the Express slowing down a little bit or the Knights kind of getting an idea of what the Express's game plan was coming into the series and countering it more effectively.
I think the Knights have tightened up what was ailing them in game number one. The possession is a little bit better. It might not be the most under control, but it's just awkward enough that the Express aren't converting it with the ease that they were in game one. As they're able to put the Express under a little bit more pressure here, it makes it that much more difficult for the Express to play out, as Dawikao, grabbing the boost, wanted to take that on the run, but just didn't quite touch the ball the way needed to, and there isn't a great chance to break out there as the Knights will push it in from midfield once more.
Final 40 seconds. Hawkeye looking for the shot, can't make contact. Dawikao sees it clear, but not as far as Soviet Shark. Goal number 2 for the Knights. You feel like this kind of puts game 2 beyond a doubt.
Dawikao just needed to put the nose through that one, maybe slam it all the way across to the side, as the Knights were lurking on the scramble. Instead, just kind of scuffs the clear, doesn't go anywhere, and the Knights will pick up their second. And you're right, Leachy, almost put this one beyond doubt.
30 seconds. Dawikao collecting this one. Soviet Shark looking to be aggressive. Pass in towards midfield. Terminator missing the clear opportunity, but Dawikao, interestingly, didn't decide to go for this, which gives Hawkeye an open opportunity, and you thought Dawikao got enough of the car behind the ball, but Rocket League thinks differently. Goal number 3 for the Knights surely puts this game to bed.
Didn't quite have enough boost to cover off that angle. It went to the camera, 12 left in the tank, which explains the decision to not go. Didn't have any faith in their own mechanical ability to get out and contest that ball before it got under Hawkeye's control. The Express looking certain here to drop game 2 on a 3-0 decision, and their playoff hopes take a big hit with that result.
Ball touches the ground. Game 2 going to the Knights. We now have a 1-1 result. Jay, at this point, is everything about the Express's playoff chances out of their hands? Is there anything at all that they can do to boost their chance of getting into the playoffs, besides obviously coming back and you know, sweeping the rest of the series and getting a very fortunate 4-1 result?
They need a 4-1 to get the best chances of staying alive in the race. They also need a lot of help out of the bottom team in the conference, in the Spartans. They need the Spartans Foundation League team to come up big against the, again, conference leading Jets. So really, this does come down to things being a little bit out of the Express's hands. It's not entirely gone, but it slips away with every game that they lose here. And again, we talked about it for the Knights coming into this. They just need a series win. That's 1 of 3 now in the bag for them to lock up the playoffs for themselves.
Mirror image in terms of the shot stats, 10 for the Knights and 3 for the Express. It was the complete opposite in game 1. I mean, is this like Freaky Friday? Like, did we switch bodies here? I don't even know. The Express just unable to find a single shot on target. They had plenty of opportunities, but maybe that's just kind of what you get with Foundation League, just a slight lack of shooting and scoring consistency throughout an entire series. Momentum kind of not really staying with teams as much as it would in higher levels here in MLE. I don't know, whatever it is, whatever happened in game 2, Knights need to pour on the pressure, and they're doing brilliantly scoring this early in game number 3.
Dawikao kind of setting themselves up for a little bit of difficulty there, as the jump pop doesn't leave a great option to follow up on that play. Both Express players, again, rotate through their own corner off that kickoff, and the Knights, they circle in, they get a good shooting lane out of it, and it's a 1-goal game for them. Hawkeye
out mid to Soviet Shark, who will collect this for the time being, looking for that self-pass. Terminator beats Hawkeye. This one's up in the air. Brilliantly done to turn around the speed of that ball right back in the Knights' faces. 1-1.
Hawkeye made a big mistake on that last play. Soviet Shark left the boost, but Hawkeye deferred, leaving it as well for their teammate to try and play off of. So Terminator, full boost tank, able to pick that one up and win the foot race.
The kickoff here. Solid out to that side. Cow beaten by Soviet Shark. Now in a less than optimal position to deal with this one. Hawkeye, almost as quick as they were scored on, brings the lead back in the Knights' favor.
Well, the first desperation attempt by Cow to clear that away ends up flipping onto the wrong side of the ball. And at this level of play, there isn't that level of confidence in your own skill to maybe drive up the backboard to take a better angle to play that one. The slow aerial touch, not quite enough to cut down the shooting angle. And the Express, again, chasing this game.
Terminator and Soviet Shark facing off the halfway line. Cow needs to sprint back to goal, gets the save, but may not be enough. Hawkeye also gets the contact, but it's sent high. Soviet Shark will miss that. It's probably a third follow-up at this point. Terminator will finally see this clear. Whew, and I mean, I did it myself. Express can breathe a brief sigh of relief. Man, Jay, it's 60 seconds, and we've already seen 3 goals. Clearly, neither of these teams showing any sign of slowing down.
No, and I think that's kind of the problem when you talk about it defensively right now. They're thinking almost a little bit too quickly. They're getting ahead of the play before it develops, and it's pulling themselves into really difficult spots that their level of mechanics don't allow them to get out of. Terminator from the parking lot looking for one there. Hawkeye has to spend all that boost in the tank to keep that one clear. Cow's follow-up, though, will follow to open space as Soviet Shark gets the demo on Terminator. And those types of plays are going to be important, I think, for both teams. As you come back on those rotations, trying to find that straggling player, take them out of the rotation to maybe open up an opportunity to change the flow of the game.
Soviet Shark, a shot almost on target. The crossbar, again, just foiling the best laid plans. We've been saying it all night, but doesn't change the fact that it is there to stay. Cow looking for a pass across the Terminator, but gets cut off by Hawkeye in the midfield. Soviet Shark, corner pass. Oh, Terminator had that ball taken away by his teammate, but they still have possession. Cow going for this one, gets stopped by Soviet Shark. Terminator tries to redirect it on target, but the Knights still come away with possession. Possession and this narrow 1-goal lead. Express feel like, or they seem like they've been starting to feel themselves as this game 3 has gone on a little bit here. I personally feel like it's only a moment or only a matter of time before the Express are able to at least tie things up, but I may be eating my words here as Soviet Shark widens the gap even more. 2-goal lead now to the Knights.
A little bit too close on the bounce from Terminator. Didn't read that play effectively coming off the baseboard, and the miss, unfortunately, leaving them utterly out of position. Soviet Shark will take that one. 2-goal lead now for the Knights. A monumental task to get themselves out of now for the Express, unless they get one quickly. Back here, shot by Terminator, too low, and ultimately easy for Soviet Shark to clear away.
Hawkeye coming in, shot opportunity off that side wall, but Soviet Shark will pull this back. 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes left, and the Knights are towering over the Express right now.
Cow spending a long time waiting before that ball bounces off the wall, before deciding ultimately to cut down the space where the ball is bouncing into, and that's eventually what ends up resulting in the goal. Hawkeye wins that challenge by virtue of being closer to it as it bounces off, and with just needing to get enough to get it in front for Foundation League, really. All you have to do, I said it in the preamble, Ichi, just sometimes hit the ball effectively, and that's really how that goal came about.
Cow trying to get an effective touch on this one. Misses this one, but thankfully, so does Soviet Shark. Terminator will take over possession for now. Flicks this roughly towards goal. That's off of that back wall. Terminator could go up and does get contact on it, but Soviet Shark catches this almost in defiance. This one is just going to be almost walked in. Hawkeye looking to turn this towards goal, rather. Terminator seems to be fighting on his own for right now. Soviet Shark and Hawkeye, a great pass over to Hawkeye. Terminator will will almost regain possession there. Have a lost connection. Terminator will have to play on for it by himself for now. Looking at a 2v1 situation. Hawkeye pinching this off of his own backboard. This one out now at the top of the box. Terminator chasing this one. up very, very high, does not need the ball to stay high, would rather the ball be right on the nose of his car so that he has possession of it and thus control and over the decision-making situation as much as possible. Oh, almost walks this one in. Hawkeye stood tall, though. This one's rolling all the way around. Terminator will chase this one back. Final 30 seconds left. You can't ignore it, Jay. Terminator's in a rough spot right now. It's not helped by the fact that he's down 3 goals.
No, but give someone credit for being able to play the way that they are right now. It does feel a little bit like the Knights have fallen off. They're not really looking to put this one away, and fair play to them for that with the disconnect here. But it still shows a lot of heart for Terminator right now with the disconnect from their teammate to come in and at least hold the Knights scoreless here. The loss didn't get any worse than it needed to be there. It's a 4-1 win for the Knights. It's 1 game away from taking the Express out of the playoff picture entirely, but it was an effort, at least for Terminator. If it didn't get out of hand earlier in that game, Leachy, then there might have been a chance, even with the 2v1.
Very much, which is kind of why I was saying it didn't help that he was down by 3 goals. At the very least, could have did a very, very good job, like you said, holding the Knights scoreless. But at the end of the day, it wasn't meant to be. Knights now taking the lead in this series. It's 2-1. We're moving slowly towards Game 4. At this point, I said if it ain't broke, don't fix it for the Express. Same message towards the Knights. I mean, I don't think they need to change anything unless you notice something different. They've been taking advantage of every weakness that the Express have afforded them so far.
It just came down to tightening up a little bit with their own touches of the ball, and that's ultimately, I think, the recipe for success in Foundation League. If you don't give away possession as easily as you could be at times, then you're probably getting the better of it, because teams aren't quite able to put you under duress in a lot of situations. They're not able to generate chances against you in a lot of ways. They just have to react to what you're doing if you have better control of the ball. Even as much as just putting that ball back into their end effectively, forcing them to spend boost, time, and resources to go back and get it, just does so much to buy yourself time to put you in better spots to make better decisions and ultimately work towards scoring a goal.
Express, 1 game down to the Knights, excellently able to claw that one back. And when we look at the stats between these two teams coming into this weekend, I'm not sure that... well, actually, you know what? I started speaking before I even saw it. But the Knights, when it came to divisional games, Knights on a positive 19 goal differential, Express on a negative 4. It's not the end of the world with that negative 4, but I don't know. I had every faith in the world, especially after the performance that we saw in Game 1 from the Express, that they had in them what it would take to bring the sweep out. It's just, I don't know, maybe the Knights took a little bit longer to get going than they would have liked, but they have absolutely slapped the Express in the face with two crushing victories here. And now, as you said, Jay, 1 more game away from putting it completely to bed and souring the Express teammates' nights.
Well, unfortunately as well for the Express, a 3-2 win, which is the best that they can get at this point, doesn't do them a lot of favors either. It requires a lot of results it requires very specific results to go their way. It puts so much pressure on another team that is already struggling in the standings to do you a solid, and I just don't get the sense that there's really that kind of magic in the cards for the Express here this evening.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough indeed. We were talking early about how the Express we're relying on this one pillar for everything to go right, and it's a difficult thing to rely on, especially seeing as the stats kind of lean more heavily towards their opponents. But once that falls by the wayside, as we have seen it do tonight, it comes more down to what you personally are digging for. What do Terminator and Dowie Cow feel like they can pull out of this entire series? You know they're good enough because the signs that we saw from Game 1 showed that they're good enough. They really need to do they need to dig deep. They need to do everything they can to pull from that performance that we saw from them earlier on in the series. If they're not, I fear we may be in for a bit of a bloodbath, and that's really not how I saw this one going.
I think it just comes down to, are the Knights going to go back to giving the Express chances to punish them, or are they going to tighten it up just enough that the Express have to find a way through and make something happen themselves? That question still remains to be answered at this point, but based on early signs, Leachy, I feel like it's more of the latter than it is of the former.
I personally just want to see Terminator get physical again. I feel like it's such a good thing to throw players out of their comfort zone, get them, you're expecting to just be on the field at all times and have visibility of what's going on the field at all times, and to have that ripped from your hands in the form of a demolition can be jarring at times and tilting depending on the mentality of the players. So Terminator, if you're probably not listening, but if you are, just dive at him. It's at this point, I feel like it's your best shot of getting a result out of this game. You're going to have to work a little bit harder with Soviet Shark scoring goals like this one.
It's unfortunate for the Express because they never really managed to hold the Knights in their end. It's kind of a weak play to cut through it. Soviet Shark just finds that seam, be able to tug at that one on the Express defense, get them into lunging challenges to try and win a desperate 50, knowing that if they don't take that ball away, there's an opportunity gifted, and another miss by Dowie Cow, and then the own goal to boot. Not like this. The Knights will lead 2-0.
Oh, man. How hard was that player's finger spiked down on that trigger, just panicking, trying to get to the ball in time. Terminator looked like he had the favorable angle on that one, but guys, move on, pick yourselves up. It's 2 goals. You're more than capable of coming back. There's just about 3.5 minutes left. You have it in you, but I mean, there's no denying, Jay. That's a bit of a gut punch.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of goals that, you can laugh some of them off. You can laugh own goals off, especially when you hit those banger redirects into your own net. But that one is the type of play with the type of stakes on the line that really does have the potential to just take all of the wind out of the sails, snap the main mast, and pretty much put the ship on notice before going underwater. As it's going to take a monumental effort, I think, by the Express at this point to turn that mental state around. It might start out well here as Dowie Cow looking for the double off the low boards, but can't get the direction finder on that. It bounces wide.
Hawkeye looking for a pass over to Soviet Shark. Relatively well positioned, but Dowie Cow upsetting the trajectory of the ball. Soviet Shark looking to do it all by their lonesome here. Terminator missing this one. Hawkeye will take over. This one's off of the ceiling. Soviet Shark up to meet it a little bit too early. Pinched it down on the ground. And now if Dowie Cow can get to the ball in time, which he can't, may see one through. However, Terminator able to pull this one back, fighting like an absolute bulldog to stay in possession of this ball. It paid off.
Desperately needed that goal. It was a golden opportunity for the Express to score after the Knights commit on that play with no real result, no real power on the shot. It was a bit scrambling. Soviet Shark did such a good job disrupting Terminator, coming in to take a clean shot at that, but rolling the Fennec around, able to get that one goalward. The Express have a lifeline.
Up high, Soviet Shark waiting for this one to come down. Will beat Terminator. Dowie Cow, ooh. Maybe an ill-advised turn there was better suited to just leaving that one rolling wide, but didn't make contact, so all in the same, or one in the same, rather. Hawkeye coming off of that sidewall. A great dunk here, but not positioned well enough to follow up his own beat. It just says, I feel like it says a lot, especially in FL, where you see players who have the confidence to pull moves like that off of the sidewall, flipping, trying to meet the ball in midair. It's a terrifying prospect to think about, that you're facing an opponent that just has so much self-belief to do that I feel like you're just inherently going to instill a set of, more hesitation in your opponents. The Express need to find a little bit more self-belief if they're going to get anything more positive out of this series than they've already got.
The one thing that I really like about watching mechanical players play is whether or not they get the decision-making right. Terminator getting on this one here. Hawkeye gets up, but this is a loose touch. They get the contact on the ball at first, but they can't line up the follow-up play because there's just too much space generated between the initial touch and where the ball bounces down. Terminator takes full advantage, gets a great angle on that one, and the Express back in this one after a couple of good goals.
Soviet Shark, very high. Dowie Cow waiting for this one to come down, but Soviet Shark gets the second tap. Very well controlled. In the Express corner now. Cow waiting for this one to come down, misses contact, has a second attempt at it. Gets it this time, but Hawkeye waiting very, very patiently. Knew that it was only a matter of time before he would be gifted possession here. Hawkeye, a crucial stop on the midfield. Wasn't too difficult to make, but if he hadn't, that was the go-ahead goal for the Express with just under 20 seconds now. Hawkeye, a demo on Terminator, getting a taste of his own medicine throughout this series. Terminator chasing this one. Dowie Cow will leave this to his teammate. Dangerous across the face of the goal, but you feel the Express had it in control the entire time. Terminator just needs to bounce this on top of his car, but took too long getting to it. Overtime here in game number 4. The Express have an opportunity to pull back level in the series.
Just ran out of boost on that final chance Terminator. You're right, just had to get the car onto the ball to dribble it and take that goalward, but unfortunately, running out of boost on the initial challenge put Terminator in a tough spot, missed the touch, and it'll be a golden goal situation here in game 4. Terminator, though, has a long one. Hawkeye's lining this up, gets the better of the 50, and that's an important clear.
Soviet has Hawkeye in support, looks to do it himself, looks for the jinking left and right kind of dribble play, but wasn't enough to beat the defender. Dowie Cow now looking for a pass himself. Gets the ball completely taken away from him. Terminator up the side, actually back down the sidewall, looking for it. The dribble through midfield. I feel, I don't know, every single time they've tried these corner passes, the Knights have been equal to it in terms of their defensive ability to keep it out. So I don't believe, or rather, I don't think that the Express are going the wrong way with trying to do dribbles through the midfield. I just think they need to put a little bit more venom on their attempts to make them count, because if you can't get that ball moving left and right unpredictably, then you may as well just be driving straight towards goal, and that's not going to get you any sort of an advantage.
Well, sometimes driving straight at goal with players at this skill level is just enough to make them think you're going to do something else with it if you get the timing right and if you have the right control over the ball. Driving straight in front of you, you won't do much with anything other than a 50. But get that on top of your car and all kinds of things open up, because the right timing with that ball kind of hovering on top of your hitbox, with that little timing on the jump into the flick, can put that ball in so many directions that'll throw a defender off if they're not able to read that play effectively.
Looking for the tricky plays as we come to the second minute of this game 4 overtime. Hawkeye won't miss this one. Oh, beats Dowie Cow excellently. All he needs to do is wait for the rebound. Won't miss this one if you paid him to do so. Hawkeye puts this game and this series to bed. Knights take their 3rd game of the series.
And with that goal as well, seals the Knights into the Season 11 Minor League Esports playoffs. The Express hard done by as they got back into this one, just couldn't find enough to get past the Knights in the end. One more game to play for with nothing but bragging rights left on the line. And personally for me, Leachy, I want to see the Express come out and just put a statement on this one to make it feel closer than I think the middle couple of games really ended up being in this one.
Definitely. Show that you're capable of dusting your opponents. And okay, this is the last time I'll harp on it, but the Express, the 4-1 result in game 1, it's proof that they have it in them. It's just that the Knights figured out that game plan early enough, and the Express just weren't able, they weren't able to adjust. So maybe a little bit too one-dimensional from the Express players. Maybe, take a look at this game when you have time, go back, analyze the replays, and figure out what you could have done better. I don't know. I'm pulling for them very, very much here to get this to get this game number 5 because we know they're capable of it. And I don't think a 4-1 result is super fair. The Knights did very well to take advantage of the opportunities given to them, but I mean the Express, they're a better team than they have shown tonight.
I think the biggest difficulty... Oh, speaking of... I was going to touch on this a little bit. It felt like in Game 1, the Express's dominance came out of the Knights' inability to get effective touches on the ball. And this one is kind of part and parcel to that. Soviet Shark up for that, not able to get the contact needed to clear that away. Hawkeye very close to that play as well. Not a lot of ability to react to that in time as Dawikau gets the shot in and puts it on target.
Okay, waiting for this one to come down. Out of the corner. Team bump there at the near post. Never something you want to see. Dawikau in danger of that second own goal. You never want to see that, but Soviet Shark will claim credit for this one. The ball was going into the back of the net by hook or by crook. It's back to 1-1.
Well, Terminator actually bumped Hawkeye into Dawikau as the scrum in front of the Express net ends up resulting in Soviet Shark picking up possession and putting it into the net. The Express, again, kind of architects of their own misfortune on that one as it just got really confusing, and they gifted the Knights back the chance.
Great save there from Hawkeye. Terminator keeping it dangerous for now. Soviet Shark pinches this for Terminator. This one, I believe, is just off target, but dear Lord, it's dangerous. Soviet Shark will ensure the goal here for the Knights, keeping the hurt on this Express team.
150 by Soviet Shark puts that ball in such a tough spot for the Express as they both have to retreat, they both have to play back towards their own net, and there's always that little seed of doubt psychologically when you're driving back towards your own net. You don't want to put that ball into your net, and especially after it's already happened once this series for the Express. So imagine how difficult that has to be as a player, knowing that you have to chase this back and that any potential misplay on this either leaves an open shot or you potentially put the ball in yourself.
Dawikau, shot opportunity. Can chip this. Terminator wisely going for that demo. Didn't need to make contact because Dawikau had it under control. Bar down ski to make it 2-2.
I feel like that run might have got Soviet Shark to jump early. Hawkeye as well didn't really know where that play was going to develop. It happened so quickly with the demo attempt by Terminator buzzing the tower on that one, leaving a little bit of room for Dawikau to score. Speaking of leaving a bit of room, off the kickoff, it's a 3-2 Express game.
Dawikau quite simply making contact with it where Hawkeye didn't. Not much else to say about that one. They will take it all day long. Listen, kickoff goals happen. Pick yourself up, like we said. Knights, 1 goal down, just over 3.5 minutes left to go. Terminator, an opportunity to make it 4-2, and will do exactly that. Perfect targeting there. Just a very well-deserved goal.
Soviet Shark kind of cheated up a little bit on the kickoff, but not in a really effective position to challenge the ball the way it went afterwards. Terminator in a great spot to pick that shot up, puts it right over top of Soviet Shark, makes it so difficult to make the save happen. And the Express putting a bunch of goals up here like we figured they would, but again, needing a little bit of help from the Knights to really make it happen.
Dawikau in the Knights' corner. It there yet again. Oh, Soviet Shark missing this one. Opening the lane for Dawikau. 5-2 to the Express. Dear Lord, where was this form earlier on in the series, man?
Great persistence by Dawikau on this one as both Knights players end up missing the clear, one by Hawkeye up front, and then follow up by Soviet Shark looking for that little chip play out of the corner as the ball curves up off the baseboard, trying to basically use the breakout as a lever to propel that ball off the boards and away from danger. The contact not made, and then Dawikau just physically bullying that over the goal line.
Terminator now. Hawkeye sending this high. Could this be goal number 6? Terminator, could not beat the Knights defense there. Tried desperately, but it wasn't meant to be. Soviet Shark, almost pulling one back for the Knights off of that underside of the crossbar there, and now following all the way around the complete opposite side of the field. Terminator will take over here, looking for the corner pass, but Hawkeye gets in the way. Dawikau brings it down expertly, looking for the shot. Man, again, we're talking about the speed here. It's really I mean, if we didn't have the little bug in that top left corner, genuinely, I would think that we're watching like ACAT or maybe even CL. The Express there in that corner, the past 15, 20 seconds were working so very quickly, and it was a very threatening play. It just didn't result in anything productive in terms of goal scoring.
Sometimes mechanics will hide the little things in Rocket League that lead to success or failure in equal measures, and this is kind of an example of that. Dowie Cow, a little lackadaisical with possession. That first touch gets too far away from the car. There's no real attempt to follow that one up, and it ends up resulting in free possession for the Knights, and they chase that one down. It's kind of a point I was touching on earlier, Lichi. Good mechanics. I like watching good mechanical players, but I like watching intelligent players a lot more, because you really kind of understand at a certain point where you need to learn more about the game, which is really hard to do. You can train mechanics. It's all mechanical, physical repetition. You can drill, run a training pack 1,000 times over to really learn how to maneuver your car in a particular way to manipulate the ball. But to understand the context of when and why that mechanic is relevant in play is something that is really difficult to learn, and even more equally difficult to teach when you're trying to coach players and really make them understand how to approach the game differently.
Terminator having to approach this safe a little differently than he was expecting. Did come away with it. Slow, awkward angle, but dealt with it extremely well. Dowie Cow waiting very patiently for this one to come down. All right, 2v1. How did the Express handle this one? How did the Knights handle this one? Hawkeye didn't really have to do much to handle it because the ball was just shot straight towards him. Soviet Shark should put this away, and does. About a minute left here, and the Knights all of a sudden find themselves back within one goal. The Express lead has been whittled away minute after minute, and now all of a sudden it doesn't look quite as confident as it did even 90 seconds ago.
A lot of it came down to the Knights again, mid-game this time, tightening up the mistakes. Terminator should have put that one away, as Soviet Shark gifting the opportunity for the Express to take back a 2-goal lead. Unfortunately, doesn't make the right contact on the ball, and the Express will have to build out from the back once more.
Build out from the back they will do, except they completely lost possession there in that clearance. A little bit of a defensive double commit. Dowie Cow knocks it across. This one's up very, very high along that side wall. Soviet over the top of the box. Hawkeye almost made that dangerous. Dowie Cow leaving this out to Terminator. No, in fact, Dowie Cow will maintain possession. Thought Terminator was going to turn on that one. Hawkeye misses contact. Dowie Cow will take advantage. 2-goal lead restored with just under 15 seconds left. Things are looking up once again for the Express.
Comes down to the Knights again. The Hawkeye in the corner didn't contest the space very well, and then Soviet Shark got forced into a really tough 50. A good line by Dowie Cow to propel that ball aggressively into the Knights, and followed up really well, especially after the missed defensive clear by the Knights. They'll count down the final seconds here on this series. Terminator looking for one for the road, won't find the contact. It's 6-4 on the scoreboards, but it's a 3-2 series win for the Knights that will see them into the playoffs in this season.
Very, very well done, Knights. You got the result you needed. The Express still managed to pull 2 games out of that. Yes, their road to playoffs now becomes extremely difficult and even more reliant on results around the division going their way. Listen, at the end of the day, the performance rather that we saw in games 1 and right here in game 5 is like prime FL Express. We needed to see that all night long. It didn't happen. I understand it's more of an exhausting play style to keep on top of your offensive challenges and rotations second after second, making sure that you're maintaining possession and pressure. But the 2 games that we won, we saw brilliance from them. So I do wish them the very best, but it seems like the Knights are sitting very, very comfortably in their playoff position.
Yeah, it basically, for the Express, it relies on the Spartans now sweeping the Jets to have any chance of staying alive in this one. But I think that's going to be a story for another day, Leechy. We're going to take our leave for the evening. There have been a couple of good plays. There were a couple of bangers hitting the last one and the one before that. Make sure you've clipped them. Send them to us on Twitter for the Balls Play of the Week presented by our friends at Balls Guarana Energy Soda. Send them to us with the hashtag MLEPOTW. Throw them in the Discord. The winner, as voted by you each week, getting a case of balls sent to their doorstep by our friends. That's it for us. On the other side, a battle at the top of the Orange Conference standings in Foundation League. It's the Rhinos and the Outlaws. You don't want to miss it. You're watching Showdown Sunday live on Twitch.tv.